Hey guys, welcome to another episode of
Episode.
Brokerpreneur Pod. Brokerpreneur. I said Brokerpreneur.
Broker manure. That sounds like a bunch of beep.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of Flow. I'm here with the big guy as usual, Matt Vi. How's it going, Matt?
I'm just wanting to know if you're going to edit that first part out or if you're going to leave that in there.
I don't know, guys. We'll let you.
We'll see.
You'll know.
Surprise us.
If there was something kind of funny, like where maybe I just didn't know how to talk at the beginning, then you'll know I didn't edit it out.
There you go. And if not, then you'll never know.
You
will know because we just said you'd know.
Unless I edit this out, too.
Gotcha. Whole lot of editing going on.
Exactly. It'll all be there. I don't. I'm an open book, right? I make mistakes just like everybody else does, right?
Yep, we all.
But that don't mean I'm not doing another podcast later. All right, get back up on the horse, guys.
That's exactly right.
Right. So, Matt, we got a killer podcast today, as usual.
Yep.
We're talking about something like fences.
Yeah, fences.
Home decor.
Going fencing, right?
Yeah, we're talking fencing.
Arm on your hip, like fencing.
What
or stolen stuff, right? That's fencing too.
On guard. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. So tell us what we're talking about today.
We're going to talk about what side of the fence people land on. That's when some of the things that go on in their business, where is it that they land?
I like it.
Yep.
Well, guys, wherever you're listening to this, before we get started, hit that follow or that subscribe button. We would be so grateful for that. Also, there's no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com, sign up for our weekly newsletter, and just get more free content from us to help you grow your brokerage.
Yep.
So, Matt.
Yeah, Benny.
What side of the fence does your brokerage fall on? And we're going to be talking a lot about does your brokerage talk a big game?
Right.
Or do they walk their talk?
Right.
Do they talk that same big game?
Right.
Or is your brokerage out there being like, no, we're not really that good.
Right. Yeah, I don't think anybody does that.
I sure hope not.
And I know that there's some crappy brokerages out there. Yep. Right. So somebody's lying. So it's okay to talk a big talk, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. There's a time and place for it. Don't get out of whack. That's not
right.
what we're saying. Don't be all big headed and whatnot. But there's big talk and then there's big action, right? And which one are you whenever it comes time to figure out exactly what it is that your brokerage needs in order for it to get to that next level?
Gotcha. So how does someone before we dive into the kind of defining who you are and that kind of thing, how does someone even know, like, man, I talk a big game? Right, because most people are probably like, oh no, I'm just normal. Let's lay it down as it is. It's my jam.
Right. Here's the easiest way to know, and this is like a surefire method of knowing, right?
Okay.
If whenever you're like at a realtor event or whenever if there's a cocktail party or open house and you walk up and everybody scatters. Yeah, that pretty much means you're talking too big of a game.
Yeah, you're talking too big of a game. Gotcha.
Now everybody is going to tiptoe up whenever they walk.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense.
Yeah, well, but honestly, I love it that you're going to let me get away with that answer.
I know, I like the answer.
Well, the answer is true.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm like, okay, it's pretty much legit.
Yeah, that is legit. So do you talk a big game? Do you fall short? Do you hear from your agents on a pretty regular basis? That's not what I thought we were about. That's not what I thought we did here, and that's not what I thought we stood for. And whenever the only time they talk to you is about something not getting delivered the way that they said, the way they were like, this isn't what I expected. Yeah. Right. We were doing this contest, and the contest didn't work out the way that I thought that it was going to work out. And we were doing this. I was gonna. I paid for the flyer program that the company offers, and that didn't go the way it was supposed to. If you're hearing all that from the same person, go ahead and fire them, right? Yeah. If you're hearing that from a lot of people in the office, then maybe you're talking a bigger game than what you're delivering. Take a step back, take a real look at it, and see who and what you are. Okay,
because I didn't know that the ping pong table was leased.
Right, it's gone now.
Who took the ping pong table?
It's gone. Yes, in case you guys missed that, we had a podcast very early on that putting the ping pong table in an office doesn't make it your culture.
Awesome, guys. So So now let's talk about, defining, right? And there's a few categories, but we're going to talk, about franchises and independents.
Yeah.
Right. Is there another category other than those?
No, not really.
Yeah, I didn't think so. And so,
so that's kind of a loaded question. Okay, let me tell you
I
why it's a
know.
loaded question.
Okay.
Sorry, the
guys.
answer is right, but here's why, and this is really at the crux of what we're going to talk about today. So there are franchise systems that offer a lot to brokerages. Okay. And then there are independents that have like branch offices that kind of operate like they're under a franchise, but they're not really under franchise. Okay.
Gotcha.
But the reason why I say, I gave that answer was because, there's a lot of franchises that offer stuff to their brokers and the brokers don't use it, right? Literally the only thing they're using is the name on the sign, right? They've got the big name on the sign. They've got their local name on the sign under it. And that is the extent of their connection with the franchise. Okay. That's problematic. Okay. And the reason why, remember what we said just a minute ago, right? Are you talking a big talk or okay. So if an agent comes on board and there's other franchises in your market that happen to have the same first name, right?
Yep.
We'll call it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Better Hathamax 21.
right. That's right. So if they have that first name,
right,
and they've talked to that broker, they left that brokerage or whatever it was, or they were there and they got friends there and everything, and then they show up to your place and you don't use any of those tools and systems, right? Then you're talking that big talk, right? So the same thing is true about independence, right? So the thing about being an independent is it gives off a certain vibe, right? It gives off a certain look and feel, and okay. So if the kind of the opposite of that, right? Franchise being they offer tools and systems, and your brokerage doesn't use them, okay?
right.
The opposite of that is being an independent and you being very corporately structured on every little thing that happens, right?
Yeah.
So those things are kind of in conflict with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Not saying independents are all fly by night, because that is absolutely not what I mean, nor should they be, and nor am I saying that every franchise should use just the tools that your franchise offers. Right. We know that's not what I'm saying. Okay. But whenever it comes to figuring out what side of the fence you fall on, so you have something that you stand for.
Right.
You have something that you've been promoting and promising in the marketplace, even if it's just the name of the franchise.
Right.
You've got something that you've been promoting in the marketplace. Are you living up to that? Is that what you're actually delivering to people whenever they're coming to work for you?
Gotcha. Yeah, and that would be that defining, right? That's kind of what you're saying. That's what you're saying there. So so we know that there are there top offices in franchises, and there are offices within franchises that struggle,
right?
Like from a recruiting standpoint or any standpoint. Right. There are also top offices that are independents, and they just kill it,
right?
But then there's independents that struggle, right? So it one thing doesn't make it the other,
right?
I want to talk specifically franchise in that direction right now. What is it that makes a top office within a franchise special? And is it that it's just a franchise? Because we know like there are independents out there that just kill it. Right. Like what's that thing that makes them special?
Yeah. So no, it's not the franchise. And it's not being an independent.
Right.
Top independents, top franchises, top teams, top agents, top team leaders all have systems.
Okay.
Period.
Makes sense.
Okay. So if we were going to say, here's the fence, which side of the fence do you fall on?
Yeah.
And this is the fence called success, which side do you fall on? If you have systemization in place, you're going to fall on the success side of that fence.
And is that systemization with everything, or are you talking specifically recruiting? And it's just like, are you talking about, through your contracts and your training? Is it top to bottom? Like this is the button you push to get water. Should you have a water fountain?
All right. So let's define success. Mm-hmm. Okay. We got to do that first.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So success means that if you are a broker owner, okay, or a broker owner group or a team that has a brokerage or whatever, if you pull your production out of that, you and your team and whoever is no longer producing, are you still profitable?
Okay.
Okay, so if you do that, then you're probably relatively a successful company. Okay, if you can't pull your production out of that, it's not that you aren't achieving a certain level of success, but you're achieving a level of success as a broker who owns a company,
right?
Not as a company run by a broker.
Okay, gotcha. Like
Okay,
brokerpreneur.
A brokerpreneur. That's exactly right. So there's a big difference between the two. Okay. So to get back to your question.
Okay.
If you can pull yourself out of that and you have systems that allow, I'm not going to say in perpetuity. Okay. But that allow perpetual productivity, right?
Yeah.
That keeps going, right? So if you have that, then you have systems in place, and that's probably a pretty successful office. Okay?
And you're saying that without even like adding other agents.
Without even adding other agents,
okay.
Correct? Yeah. You can't count something you don't have. Right?
Oh, for sure. I just want to make sure. Like,
yeah, it's a good question. So if you have a system that allows you to take your production out of it, and for the profitability to continue at a very nice pace, then you probably have systems in place that you need. The reason why I say that, your question was, is it just a recruiting system? Is it just a training system? Is it just whatever? Without a balance of systems in the office, right? And we've talked about this in other podcasts, right? And we can argue with the audience if we wanted to about this. It's about sales, and it's about marketing, and it is about compliance, and it is about legal. That's really what the company breaks down into, right? Finance and legal, right? So there's 4 parts. Let me say it again, because I know I said that quick. So okay. Company breaks down into 4 parts. Any company.
Number 1,
sales.
Number 2,
marketing.
Number 3,
finance.
Number 5,
easy.
Number 4,
legal and compliance.
Okay.
That's, every company has those pieces to it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that comes from Harvard Business Review. That comes from,
that's all over. That's business
exactly
books,
right.
like
That's
101.
Right. That's right. And not in that order, right? There's a whole bunch of different, okay.
Yep.
But those are the 4 key components. All of those have to have systems. Okay. So if you have systems in all 4 of those compartments, and you can take your production out of that, or your team's production, or however you want to put it, don't get tricky with me out there. Don't go, oh, well, I'm the broker, my wife sells, but, and she gets the leads.
Take me out of it.
Right.
Still profitable.
I barely make anything, but
she's my only agent.
That's right. That's not what right.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. Right.
Yeah.
You got to take that ownership out of that. Okay. So take the ownership out of that. And if what is left is still profitable and has systems in those four parts.
What if someone has a team?
Right.
And it's part of their brokerage. Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
What do you mean? Tell me more.
So like let's say I'm an agent. I've got a team. It's working for me, and then the next day, I'm like, I started my brokerage.
Right.
I can leave and go on vacation. Does that mean I have a successful brokerage?
So how good of a team leader were you? Right. So if you were a great team leader and you can leave and go on vacation, and your team operates the way that it needs to without you, you had a brokerage already, right?
Okay.
Because they didn't need you. But if you get plucked out of there and you're gone for a 6-month hiatus, and everything falls apart and everybody's yelling and screaming and production
you
falls,
come back and they're wearing loincloths and hiding in the corner with spears.
Right. Yeah. Then that's a problem. So absolutely, it has to be you pulling your production out of that.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So if you can pull your production out of that, you're still profitable, and you have systems in those 4 quadrants, you're probably running a successful business. So what does that have to do with independent and franchises?
Yep.
Well, great independents have those things. Right? Great franchises have those things.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I know. But both of them don't necessarily use just a specific tool, meaning that a great franchise might for their sales system. I'll give you a super example here. So a great franchise brokerage might have said, you know what, we really want to adapt the ninja way of selling. Okay. So the ninja selling system, Larry Kendall, all that kind of stuff. Maybe they say that that's really, from a sales standpoint, That's what we're going to lean into. That's our system. That doesn't mean every person in that brokerage follows that.
Right.
It means that brokerage, that is the systemization of how they get people productive. And that's how they help maintain, and that's what they support to keep people productive. That's their sales systemization. You follow me?
Yep, absolutely.
You don't have to be a franchise. You can be an independent to work with Larry Kendall and those guys at Ninja Selling, right? So all of that is geared towards the rest of everything else that company uses might be some other franchise, right? They might use the CRM given by another franchise. They might use all this other, but the actual selling system, okay, is that other piece. So when I just said the CRM, that means they're for their compliance arm of what they're doing, and some of the sales arm of what they're doing, their systemization, it comes from the franchise. You follow me?
Right.
So as long as you have that systemization in those different categories, like sales, that's where your training falls under, right?
Right.
And so marketing falls under your marketing, right? And so some of what you do with the CRM is going to fall into that if you're providing things for it. So all of those things are just systemized to be able to use a certain way.
Yeah. So, I want to bring something in here that we talk about almost every single podcast, and I want to get your take on it as far as not challenging what you're saying, because I'm in complete agreement with that. But if I'm out there listening and I'm like, man, these guys are always talking about how imperative it is from a recruiting standpoint to focus on the relationship.
Yep.
More than the numbers.
Yep.
Knowing that numbers is the number one rule.
Right.
Right. But recruiting is a relationship game, not a numbers game. If I'm listening and I'm used to hearing that from us, and now all of a sudden, you didn't say anything contradicting that, but now all of a sudden it's like systems and business and right, like where in those four pillars, if this is like how you run your business, where in those four pillars does all this relationship stuff that we talk about come into play, right? Is that number 5, or does it fit into this?
No, it's absolutely built throughout all of it. Okay. So let me give you an example. So let's talk about compliance for just a second, right?
Okay.
So you use transaction coordinators, you use compliance coordinators, you use administrative staff, or whatever it is that you want to call them. When a file's turned in as a brokerage, you make sure certain things happen so you don't get your ass sued off, right?
Right.
Okay. How that person at that front desk or wherever they sit takes care of the agents inside that office, or how that transaction coordinator reaches out to people that work at the title company and the mortgage and all the other places that they work. That is where that relationship part comes in.
Gotcha.
That doesn't mean are they gonna check the list or are they not gonna check the list, right? Because the system is the list. Right. How are they going to facilitate the conversation between people that they need to, right? What kind of email do they send out to people? Is it, hey, Betty Sue, I was just looking through your file and I know we got to get this in there. Is there any way I can help you get the signed blah, blah, blah into the file? Is completely different than you're not getting your check if this is in the file I've told you before.
Yeah. Please select all the images that include a bicycle.
Right. Right. That's exactly right. So that's where that comes in. Okay. Your accounting department, how agent friendly are they? Right. If you're the accounting department, how agent friendly are you? Right.
Yeah.
If you've got, little or no marketing, and so you're outsourcing your marketing, you're using a virtual assistant or you're using some other system that's helping you do your geographic farming, are those people of the same mindset that you are, right? Are they customer-based people, or is it just someone behind a keyboard that doesn't care and they're just sending out postcards that have the wrong pictures to the wrong addresses to the wrong whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's where that all comes in. Don't put a system in place that doesn't have the same relationship philosophy that you do. That's why I mentioned Ninja Selling just a second ago. Right?
Yeah.
They're as relationship-based as you can be.
Yep. I absolutely love it. I have I went to Chipotle yesterday.
Right.
And I go through and I'm like, I'll have some chicken and give me some cheese and some beans and blah, 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 blah. And I get to the end and, my food's like right there next to the register because they keep sliding it down with you. And the girl's just like on her phone. Mm-hmm. She's like looking down at her phone. She knows I'm there.
Right.
She's like,
did you say she cares you're there?
Huh?
Did you say she cares you're there?
I don't think she cared that I was there for sure. But that's kind of what we're talking about. Right. Chipotle, basically all I'm saying is they have a lot of systems.
Absolutely.
Right? That's how they have, however many stores that they have across, forever. But
And the food's consistent.
But every single, I guess you'd call it a franchise. I'm not sure if Chipotle is, franchise or not, but every single location, man, like that one wasn't relationship based.
No, that's exactly correct.
And there's another one that's probably out there just like absolute, and it wasn't full.
Right. Nope.
There's one out there that's like, man,
Yep.
every seat in the house is full.
Yep.
And they're probably not even allowed to have their phones.
Right.
Up by the register. So, just another example. I was just trying to bring out that
It's a great example. I mean, and people have to make a choice, right? They have to make a choice. You don't have to choose between a system and a relationship.
Yeah.
You can actually have a system and hire people that believe in a relationship.
Yeah. I've never been ignored at Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Right. So something to think about.
Yep.
Well, I know you have an action item for us.
I do.
But before we get to that, you guys know the routine. If you're new, gosh, I love you so much. But here's what happens at this point in the podcast. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's up?
What up?
Hit that red subscribe button and that bell right beside of it. You'll get notified every time we drop a new episode. Go to Prospect Boomerang, guys. Check out what we have to offer there to help you grow your brokerage. We have different programs for any size brokerage at multiple price levels. So we know that there's something that we can help you with to be part of your win. Matt.
Yeah, Benny.
We want to continue adding value and helping, just like that we tell all of our listeners to do.
Yep.
So let's give them an action item that they can take away from today and say, you know what? I'm going to grow my brokerage, and I'm going to, whatever those 4 pillars were that I may have to go listen again. Whatever those 4 pillars were that Matt said, I'm going to crush those.
Right. So this is how we'll do this. We'll do this Mad Lib style.
Okay, cool.
Right.
That's how I do everything.
I hear you. So we're going to insert a person, right?
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to say my top producer is known for, and then we're going to put an adjective in there, or we're going to put an adjective in there. Okay.
All right.
And then we're going to say my.
Am
lowest,
I going to do that, or
no,
we're just going to tell the listeners?
We're just going to tell the listeners.
Okay,
to do it.
good. I don't have to.
There's no telling what would come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I don't have to use my brain.
If we gave an adjective or an, or an adverb. Or
I'm ready with smelly.
And then they're gonna say my top producer is known for blank.
Right.
My middle producers are known for blank, and my lowest producers are known for blank.
Okay.
Okay. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a look at 3 of those and see if you have a system for each of those.
Yeah.
Okay. So are your top producers known for being, great at listings? Well, how many systems do you have in your marketing portion of your business that help them with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, let me forewarn everybody here.
Okay.
If your top people are known for, my top producers are known for something that you're not offering, you don't have a system for, and you're not connected with, they are at danger, Will Robinson.
Yes.
Okay. That is a retention issue. That is a retention issue. Okay. If you say my mid-tier producers are known for whatever, and if it's a good thing and it's a system, kudos. If it's a bad thing and you don't have a system, freaking fix it. Okay. Yeah. My lowest producers are known for whatever.
Blank. You could just use that.
Known for blank, right? And so if they're known for blank, we have to make sure that we have a system in place that gets them to a certain point in those other stages of middle and top level producers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. How do you help them fill in the blank?
That's exactly right.
Right. If it's blank, help them fill in the blank.
That's exactly right. So they end up on the right side of the fence.
That's exactly right. Well, guys, we help fill in your blanks.
Yep.
Right. And we do that for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them why that is, Matt.
Because we just want to be part of their win.
Space Ghost.